The sun was setting behind the rugged hills of New Haven, casting elongated shadows over the bustling town that sat on the edge of the Wild West and civilization. Dust swirled in lazy spirals at the feet of townsfolk closing up shops for the evening. Men with grim faces and wide-brimmed hats gathered outside the saloon, whispers of injustice thick in the dusty air. At the center of it all stood an old man named Dirk, his frame weathered like aged leather, etched with deep lines of time and toil. Dirk was not one to usually find himself in a crowd, especially one such as this, which hummed with a sense of foreboding urgency and raw, untempered anger. But tonight was different. 3 cattle, prized as much for their robust size as for the potential profit they promised, had gone missing. Accusations flew like arrows. The setting sun seemed to drag with it the last threads of patience. The name mentioned most in suspicion was that of Lucas Masterson, a lanky ranch hand who had a reputation as unpredictable as the prairie wind. Dirk stood among the men of New Haven, listening as the plans unfolded. A posse would be formed, a group dedicated to seeking justice quickly and without legal oversight. As the crowd's determination took shape, Dirk felt a knot forming in his stomach, a twinge of doubt among the men's certainty. He had seen this before, many times in his long years under the harsh sun and the cold starlit skies. Dirk remembered too well how quickly a quest for justice could tip into the abyss of vengeance. His old heart pounded as the men leaned in, binding together in a pact of sand and fire, yet he said nothing to sway them. Soon the men began to sift from the crowd, spurred into action. Dirk watched as the town's sheriff, a young man named Willard Tuttle, tried to intervene, his voice rising in calm authority. But the river of unrest had breached its banks, and the current of emotions swept away the sheriff's words. Dirk hesitated, caught between the dust and the dim horizon where the posse now rode, a trail of grit marking their chase. Against his better judgment, he mounted his horse, an old mare as steadfast as he was. Despite Dirk's age, some spark within urged him to follow, whether for justice, peace, or something even he couldn't name. And so, under the gathering night, Dirk followed the others out of New Haven, beginning a journey that would test the old man's convictions against the unforgiving expanse of both land and human nature. The posse rode hard into the night, the chill air biting against their faces as they crossed into the open expanse of desert terrain. The moon cast an eerie glow over their path, guiding and mocking them simultaneously. Dirk trailed just behind the main group, his thoughts a whirl of doubt and faded memories. Finally, as dawn broke, the posse arrived at a small, desolate canyon where they found Lucas Masterson camped beside a sputtering fire. The horses snorted and stamped as the men dismounted, their eyes hard and unyielding. Lucas rose to meet them, weary but unafraid, his eyes meeting theirs with a calm that only deepened their suspicion. Dirk stayed back, observing, as the group encircled the accused, their voices rising in accusation and demand. Lucas denied the theft, his words steady despite the tension crackling in the air. With the canyon walls closing them in, a silent, unbearable weight pressed upon Dirk. The unchecked fury of the crowd was like a living thing, threatening to crush all reason. He knew the choice was stark. Either speak now or forever hold his peace, along with the guilt that silence would bring. Stepping forward into the circle of men, Dirk raised his hand, a gesture more significant for its sincerity than its authority. The old man addressed the posse, his voice rough from disuse. He spoke of justice, not as it was meted out by man or moment, but as a patient force that sometimes required the strength to wait or the wisdom to step aside. Dirk's plea for reason wove its way through the crowd, and for a moment the canyon was silent except for the whispering wind. The men, caught in the web of their own making, began to unravel from their heated resolve. The sheriff, who had followed cautiously as far as his duty would allow, stepped forward in support of Dirk's words, offering a lawful conclusion to the night's fervor. Lucas, watching from within the tumult, gave a subtle nod to Dirk, acknowledging the old man's intervention with a gratitude no words could convey. As the men turned their horses back toward New Haven, wisdom over vengeance allowed the posse to transform, piece by weary piece, back into a community. Dirk, heart slightly lighter yet eyes still shadowed, knew that peace had once more been delayed rather than denied entirely. In the end, The dusty landscape bore witness to a battle more significant than any fought with guns or knives, a battle for souls, resolved under the vast, impartial sky, where mercy found a home in reason, and once more there was a chance for redemption, forged in the soft light of a new day.